Chapter 9. Duel. It was a place shaped like a big cage. On a circular floor of about 20 meters, plants like fine feathers grew, and in the center there was a circular sofa-like ditch and wooden table. Big branched limbs formed a dome in a mesh pattern, and various plants, such as flowers and fruits, emitted light, and a window showed that the room which was at the top of Tenju had an amazing view. Nice to meet you. I am Captain Sena Yamada of the Kamedake. Sena saluted. Nice to meet you. I am the Jurian Emperor, Masaki Azusa Jurai, and I am the head of the Masaki family, First Empress, Masaki Funaho Jurai. And I'm Jurian Empress number 2, Masaki Jurai. Well, then, now that everyone's introduced. Oh, Sena, sit here. Sit down. Before Azusa's words ended, Misaki pulled Sena to the side and tried to sit him down forcibly. Misaki-chan. Oh, sorry. Scolded by Funaho, Misaki quickly brought Sena back to where he was. First, let me thank you for the package that you kept safe for us. Azusa bowed deeply to Sena. Oh, that. I was just fulfilling my duties. That package was an irreplaceable important thing for us. Thank you for bringing it through all those pirates. Is that so? Then I'm glad it could be delivered safely, but, well, never mind. If you want to know what's in it, don't worry, that shitty old hag will explain it later. So please be patient for a while longer. Azusa said, understanding Sena's question. No, I didn't mean to pry. Wait, shitty old hag? Yes. I mean Sito Kamiki Jurai. Oh, that's right. Azusa took out a small card from his pocket and handed it to Sena. Tentatively, if you want to file an appeal regarding anything she tells you to do, please consult me. Here, this card also serves as a sort of membership card. Please register it later. Oh, wow, sure. Thank you for that, but for now I don't think I have a single complaint. And besides, Sito was the one who let me go up to space, so I owe her. Azusa, who once had a similar experience to Sena, smiled a wry smile. Well, at this stage, you may feel that way. Then in that case, if I had said it could be used to appeal to me when Eri does annoying things, do you understand that better? I see. Yes, now I understand very well. Ha 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 ha. Well, just remember that shitty old hag is way worse than her. Azusa laughed in a loud voice, looking at Sena, who responded immediately. So, can I use this on Eri? I suppose. I'd like you to think about it next time something happens. Anyway, enough with formalities. When Azusa said that, Misaki jumped to Sena and sat him down like before. She pulled out some tea and sweets from the bushes nearby and put them on the table. Now then, please don't hesitate to eat. Misaki happily seated herself by Sena and began to pet his hair. Oh, that's who. Misaki reminds me of Mitoto. You don't have to be so tense. Make yourself at home. Sena, you're not just a benefactor to us. Yes, I'd go so far as to say you are family. Family? If you were told that you were family to the universe's most powerful military nation, it would be natural that you would be confused just like Sena was. Kuriko is a member of the royal family's Masaki family. Tenchi and Tenio are my great-grandchildren. Aika and Sasami-chan are Misaki-chan's daughters, and also Kion is my granddaughter. Aunt Kion. I've heard a lot about you from Tenio. Funaho gently stroked his head too as Sena frowned a bit at hearing Kion's name. And if that's too loose a connection for you, if you think of things on a galactic scale, you are also from the same planet as me, and you come from a place very nearby. You were born so close to where I'm from, you might as well have been born in the same room in the same house. Oh, thank you. Sena was a little tearful with joy. Not because of what he was told by Azusa, but because even though he had just met him for the first time, he felt somewhat nostalgic feelings for Azusa. How cute! Misaki hugged Sena tight as she petted him, and she shook him as she did. It was too much momentum. Sena tried to seek help, but he gave up as he looked at the puzzled face of Azusa and Funaho. Hey, Misaki-chan, please calm down. Funaho cried. Oh, and then Misaki jumped to sit between Sena and Funaho. Come now, let's drink tea. Funaho recommended and put some cold tea down in front of Sena. Yes, thank you. Sena drank the cold tea and took a deep breath. He finally looked around the room and noticed no one else was there but the four of them. Am I allowed to be here? There were no servants, so it must have been a private place. Oh, don't worry, I wasn't the one who invited you here, it was someone who was superior to me. Who's above the Emperor of Jurai? This tree Tenju. The royal trees have the last say in everything, they let us live here. The reason Tenju sent you here was to stop that shitty old hag's plan. Sito's plan? On a side note. Sena, do you mind taking Minaho as a bride? What? Oh, I see. That was too blunt. Sena was taken aback. Funaho was laughing hard. If Tenju hadn't interfered with the gate controller, you would have ended up in her trap. Well, Kisapanta did turn into my Aunt Sakiko. You met Kisapanta? Really? Yes. Kariko also seemed to have the same reaction. I see, this is serious. In Azusa's expression, something like sorrow appeared for a moment, but it quickly turned into a shaky expression. That shitty old hag must be sicking the local core on you. On Azusa's ear, a voice communicator started. What? Okay, I understand. I have no choice. Azusa looked towards Sena with an expression of agony. Sena. Minaho and Ringo have been taken hostage. What? Minaho and Ringo are hostages. How serious? What will we do? Well, it seems that their kidnapper has requested a battle with Sena. Battle? Why with me? The bravery of Sena is known galaxy-wide, even on Jurai. But I'm not a warrior. I have some basic martial arts training from the GP Academy, but it's just a small amount of self-defense techniques. You shrugged off a raid from hundreds of space pirates and Tarrant. There's no mistaking that you're a brave warrior. But be safe. Don't let those hostages be endangered. But Minaho and Ringo are more trained than I am. Fine then. I'll send the military to go rescue them. No, don't. I'll go. Sena stood up. But, I'm sure they've just been caught up in my bad luck. If that's the case, I have to do something. No, I'll send the military in to save them. We don't want one of Jurai's benefactors put in danger. For me, Minaho is my benefactor. Thanks to her, despite my bad luck, I'm doing well, and I've recently become friends with Ringo-san and Anoka-chan. I have to save them. Sena said seriously. Azusa breathed a big sigh. I understand. Tatsuya, hurry. Yes. Tatsuya Masaki bowed to Azusa and got into the driver's seat of an air car that Sena was put in. The air car left. I didn't expect Sito to make such a move. Well, this is Sena's first visit to Jurai. Funaho and Misaki smiled at each other. He's a nice boy, isn't he? Are you nervous? Tatsuya asked Sena a few minutes after the air car started to move. Yes, it's a bit of a hassle, but I'm more concerned about Minaho. If their request is to fight with you, I think they'll be okay because their wish will be granted when you go to battle them. But what if they're not? I'm sure they're fine. There is no need to hurt Minaho and Ringo. Besides, the only one likely to get hurt is you, or worse, death. That is, well, normal for me. If possible, I'd like you to come back safely. My wife is eager to talk to you. Wife, are you married? My wife used to take care of Misaki-sama's daughter, Sasami-sama, but as Sasami-sama is on Earth, it is a top-secret matter. She hasn't been able to talk to Sasami in years, so I think she wants to talk to you about Sasami for a while. Is that so? Okay. I understand. I'll do my best. Please do. Is Yosho doing all right? Yosho? Do you mean Tenchi-senpai's grandfather? Well, yes. In fact, I'm an old acquaintance with him. I was the reason why he was able to leave Jurai. Wow! I'm sure he's indebted to you. When I was young, he scolded me a lot, ha ha ha. But I was surprised when I came up to space and learned his real identity. But what surprises me the most is that he's married to Eri. Ha ha ha, that's good to hear. Tatsuya answered with a laugh. But those on Jurai already knew that Yosho and Eri had a special relationship since their days at the Royal Academy and recognized that Minaho was her child with Yosho. When Yosho left, I was worried a lot. I was very happy that recently his safety was confirmed. But from what I heard, he's been keeping in touch with Sito for a long time now. I don't mean to complain, but I think he owes me an apology for not telling me sooner. Is that so? I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by that. Anyways, that's the venue for the battle. It was one of the places in the forest destroyed by Ryoko, located a bit far from the lowest level of Tenju. Even though there were big decaying trees hunched over, everywhere could see that there were seed beds that already had trees growing from them that were about 100 meters high. We use places like these to train our warriors, Tatsuya said as they landed on a fallen tree. He opened the door and Seina got out. If you go straight on this fallen tree, you'll arrive at the designated place. Tatsuya pointed. There was a huge cave formed by big fallen trees. Okay, thank you. Seina bowed to Tatsuya and walked straight to the destination. Seina walked straight along the fallen tree to the huge cave. Sunlight entered through the ceiling gaps in the cave and it was quite bright. There were many mosses, vines, and parasitic plants inside. Although he heard the sound of water flowing, he couldn't confirm its existence. After he walked for about 10 minutes, he came out into a space like a spacious dome. Wow, what is this? Seina soon realized that this was the designated place. It's an interesting place, isn't it? The relatively soft part of the tree has decayed and the hard outer skin has been left behind, so you're the boy they're all talking about. A woman stepped out from the dark into the sunlight from the ceiling. The woman had a fearless appearance and short cut hair. You could tell from looking at her body that she had the flexibility of a leopard and unrelenting power. Her entire body was like a spring. But the atmosphere he felt from her didn't seem like that of a person who would take someone as a hostage. Where are Minaho and Ringo? They're fine, I've been treating them properly. The woman pointed to where Minaho and Ringo were. They were tied up close to the ceiling of the dome and were secured by some guardmen. Seina looked around and noticed a lot of guards standing at the walls of the dome. Oh, did you finally realize they were there? Don't worry, they're just onlookers. Think of them as big overgrown mushrooms. The woman smiled, but Seina had something else to worry about. Can I ask a question? What? Why are Minaho and Ringo in maid uniforms? The two were tied up wearing the same maid dresses that Hakuren's girls wore at Amane's house. There is a phrase, maiden souvenir, on the earth, isn't there? That's why, if you can't defeat me, I think I will take them home as a souvenir. The meaning of that phrase is somewhat different. Is that so? The woman saw Seina was embarrassed. Well, it's common that such cultural misunderstandings happen. No need to be ashamed. He still blushed. Hey, why are you so embarrassed? Well, let's just say that what you said was really off from what you think it means. Really? It didn't seem like it from how I've heard it used. The man detaining Minaho said, with a confused face. Shut up. Mushrooms are supposed to be silent. Oops. Please release Minaho-san and Ringo-sama right away. I won't try to run or hide. I am going to release them after our battle. I need them tied up to ensure they don't get in my way. Now then, shall we start? At the woman's signal, a man with a case full of various weapons came near. Seina glanced at the weapons and picked up a weapon similar to a tonfa from among them. That's a pretty good choice. In this place it's difficult to swing a long object. That can be a shield or a gun depending on how you use it. Remember, don't hesitate to fight without fear. The man said with a smile. Good luck. The man took away the case. Seina waved it around to get the feel for it. Yeah, I like the feel of this. And from the weapon that he swung. Down. An energy bullet was fired. It grazed a man in the crowd, and then it made a small scorch on the wall. Whoa. This is actually dangerous. Laughter came from the surroundings as the other men laughed. Sorry. I'm sorry. Are you okay? Ahahaha. Don't worry, it's okay. Don't pay attention to those stupid mushrooms. But don't shoot again before the battle starts. Wait till the sound of the stone hitting the ground. She threw a large stone lightly up to the ceiling. And the atmosphere of the woman suddenly changed. At the same time as the sound of the stone hitting the ground, the woman's sword grew out like a whip and abruptly hit at Seina. But he flew backward, faster than the tip of the whip, and it pierced the ground. Haha. I'm shocked. It's not often people avoid my first shot. The woman was cranky looking. She began to let the whip blade lashes fly. Seina ran away like a rabbit. He stopped worrying about what was behind him and started running desperately, looking only in front of him. Huh. Wow. Do you see that he is managing to dodge Yuzaki? Azusa groaned as if surprised a little. Now Azusa was in a large waiting room with Sito, Kanemitsu, Kuriko, and Eri. By the way, Misaki was being guarded high up in Tenju so she wouldn't get excited about the battle and try to break it up. What do you think, Kanemitsu? Sito said as she kept watching the monitor. Yuzaki's sword whip is hard to dodge even for experts. It took years for me to become familiar with it. I remember. He's never even seen such a weapon, and yet Seina is a natural at dodging it. It's a miracle. I get a feeling that it's a bit more than that. Seina is always exposed to sudden danger. His sense of movement is fast. I'd say he's on the same level as an expert. But, Azusa looked at the movement of Seina on the monitor. Kanemitsu, is this the first time for Yuzaki to be in that place? Yes, we try not to let people in who don't have to be there. Well, that could be a big deal. What do you mean, Azusa? Don't you see it? Seina isn't dodging any more than he has to, and all he is doing is running away. At this rate, Yuzaki is going to get tired, and she can't use her surroundings to her advantage. Hey, this is getting a bit ridiculous. As expected by Sito, Yuzaki's men were also aware of her situation. I've never seen anyone prolong a battle with her this long. If Yuzaki-sama gets in any danger, we should stop it. If she wanted to not get hurt, she should have equipped a guardian. While the men were talking, Seina became aware of another danger. Everyone run away. You idiots. Yuzaki's whip attacked Seina as he stopped and screamed. Yuzaki's whip was coming right for them and was in an uncontrollable state. Clang! Seina used the weapon as a shield with both hands, but it deployed with maximum output. Several coincidental situations overlapped, and it stopped in the form of being wrapped around Seina's arms. Gah! Seina grimaced as a burning pain shot through both arms. If even one of the coincidences hadn't happened, Seina's arms would have been pulled out. Everyone, we're in danger. Get out of here. Hey boy, are you insane? Why are you stopping in the middle of a battle? We have to leave. Please hurry and save yourself. Huh? What are you saying? Then Yuzaki heard the noise of small birds and small animals from here and there. They all appeared from their respective hideouts and began to run away. Evacuate everyone. Hurry, Yuzaki ordered. The actions of her men were quick. However, they only managed to evacuate Minaho and Ringo, and then an earthquake occurred throughout the fighting ground. Wah! Suddenly the floor collapsed, Seina fell, but the whip wrapped around his arms saved him. Hold on tight, boy. No, you won't be able to get out if you save me. Please run away. Yuzaki-sama. The moment one of her subordinates tried to go up to Yuzaki as she tried to raise Seina up, the entire fragile ceiling began to collapse and Yuzaki was crushed by it. Rescue troops, hurry. Send the advanced resuscitation medical team. Azusa cried. Kuriko ran off at the same time to take action. Sito and Eri went to work giving orders, as if they knew perfectly how to divide their roles as leaders. It was 30 minutes after Seina was rescued. It turned out that only Seina and Yuzaki were involved in the collapse, and both were confirmed to be safe. They were stuck in a gap in the rubble. A guardian system was sent into that gap, and it encapsulated them and forcefully pulled them out of the rubble to the outside. Through microprobes, the guardian system had checked the situation of the two in advance. Seina and Yuzaki were immediately brought into a sterile capsule on the spot to perform a precision scan. Eri, is Seina okay? Kuriko met with Eri as she performed the precision scan. Amain and Irma had rushed off to meet up with Minaho and Ringo, who escaped from the collapse without injury. Because they were in a gap created by collapsed rubble, they haven't suffered much trauma. This precision scan is just to be safe. Is that so? That's good. Eri, how is Yuzaki? Kanemitsu asked worriedly. Well, Yuzaki's fine. She just has some mild bruises and abrasions. Eri released Yuzaki from the capsule after she finished the precision scan. Haha, sorry. Yuzaki apologized to Kanemitsu with a cute pose. Shouldn't you apologize to your opponent first? I apologized a lot when Seina and I were trapped together. Of course I'll apologize again, later. I'm glad that you're safe. Thanks to that boy, if Seina hadn't warned us, all the others would be hurt too. It was my choice to fall down with him. I guess I could have escaped alone, but I understand. You should have seen it. His ability to avoid me was amazing. I saw. It was amazing. I was surprised, honestly. I don't think that he was even doing it consciously. Even I can't do that. And he seemed to place only the required distance between him and your attack every time. Well, I assume it's due to his probability bias, but he is a formidable fighter. Yes, but it's a talent that has been developed by his bad luck. Oh, well, I guess you're right. Kariko was worried about Seina's scan. Eri, how is Seina? Seina is exhausted as expected, but he suffered no dangerous damage. Kariko was relieved. There are about 80 scratches on his whole body, but it's just cuts and bruises. The bruises on the arm where he touched Yuzaki's whip are the most severe, but the second worst thing are scratches from the animals that got trapped inside with them. Kariko told Amain and Irma, who were relieved, as usual. Azusa gathered Kanemitsu and Sito in front of him. What happened to Seina is all your fault. I expect you to apologize to him personally on behalf of Jurai. The Emperor of Jurai deeply bowed his head towards Seina, as did Sito, Kanemitsu, and Yuzaki as they got on their knees and apologized. The Jurian Emperor and Sito had never before had to resort to lowering their head to someone. Kariko and the men who were there, and the rescue workers were amazed by the sight. No, it's my fault really. It is not permissible for us to have a man who showed such courage in bringing that package to us subjected to this welcome ceremony. You are a benefactor of Jurai and should not be subjected to needless battle injuries. Well, I'm pretty sure this happened due to my bad luck, otherwise I wouldn't have gotten out of the collapse so unscathed. As the person responsible for him, as the leader of the academy, I think that there's no mistake in what Seina says. Eri was quick to say, I appreciate that if that is what you say, so... Whether this accident was caused by Seina's bad luck or by Yuzaki mattered, as Seina's position was that of a captain of the GP, which belonged to the academy, and also half to the GP military. It could have developed into a major diplomatic issue. I'm just glad that Misaki wasn't there. Indeed. Please indulge me, Eri. I want to talk to Seina on the way to the hospital. Kariko-chan, please prepare for the luncheon. Sito stopped Kariko. But I have to look after Seina. Kariko glared Sito down. No, you don't. Besides, there's someone at the banquet who would like to talk with Seina. Oh, right. Tatsuya, please get everything taken care of. Azusa said to Tatsuya. Oh, wait a moment. Yuzaki began to chase after Eri, who started moving Seina's capsule. Yuzaki, what is it? Passing by Tatsuya, she looked into Seina's capsule. I'm really sorry, Seina. As a consolation, will you please take my daughter? Haha. What? Seina said, confused. I would like for her to be yours, please. Everyone there was surprised. Your daughter? But she was just born. It's okay, think about it. We will talk about it more after you eat. Yuzaki smiled. No, you won't. I don't see how it's any of your business. Yuzaki looked at Kariko. Did you leave your common sense under the rubble? Kariko said viciously. Why shouldn't he marry her when she grows up? You have to be joking. You can't make that decision for her on a whim. Ultimately, I'll respect her while on the matter. Yuzaki, you can't be serious. I am, Sita-sama. I would like to make a formal request. Wait a moment. First of all, Yuzaki and Sito and Kariko gathered together and began to argue. This could only end badly. Azusa sent a signal to Tatsuya by hand so that he would take Seina away quickly and moved away to a safe area with Kanemitsu. So my opinion is just going to be ignored. Seina said, looking up at Tatsuya. It's reckless to put yourself in the middle of that fight. I guess you're right. Seina watched the girls fight as he was dragged away. He closed his eyes to sigh. Seina was housed in a hospital dedicated to the royal family, which was located in Tenju, where he was again scanned, but the diagnostic was unchanged. They had his skin healed and all signs of the injuries had disappeared. Seina Yamada, you have a visitor, would you like me to let them in? A nurse wearing Jurai-style nurse clothes called to Seina. A visitor? Sure, send them in. A woman came in with Tatsuya. Seina, allow me to introduce my wife, Mama Masaki Jurai. Tatsuya took Mama's hand and brought her to Seina. Nice to meet you, Seina. Seina and Mama were talking on a terrace. How is Sasami's life on Earth? Well, I don't know much, but the Sasami I've met is a very healthy and bright girl. But she is very mature. She took care of all Tenchi-senpai's housework till Noik came. And all the other people in her house who surround her are nice people, Sana said. He figured if Mama knew about Tenchi and the people of Masaki village, her concerns about Sasami would be gone, so he explained what kind of person Tenchi was through his own experiences with how the others in the Masaki family had accepted him. And she's always bringing Ryoki with her into the village. Tatsuya, who was watching, noticed his wife's expression gradually becoming calm. When Sasami left, Mama had become excessively worried about her because she had cared for Sasami from a young age and she was still very young. Mama mourned for her more than her parents and grandparents had when she learned that Sasami had left Jurai with Aika. Several times she had joined the search groups sent out to find them. She invested her own money to the point of bankruptcy, and using her own time and resources had desperately looked for Sasami's whereabouts. I couldn't protect Jurai, and Mama couldn't stop Sasami's running away. Tatsuya knew the pain and feelings of Mama. He had tried to protect Mama from that, and his own feelings of responsibility had triggered the connection between the two. Azusa, Funaho, and Misaki supported his marriage with Mama. Neither of them were royalty nor nobles at the time. In marriage, Tatsuya took responsibility for the invasion of Ryoko, and had received a demotion by being kicked out of the royal family to become a regular Masaki. Mama was also a non-royal Masaki, and so the marriage of the two was allowed. The situation had settled down since then. Tatsuya was allowed to return to work for the royal Masaki family. Mama was taken on as a staff member on Misaki's royal teaching staff. Eventually, she was adopted by the Kamiki family, and she was now treated as Masaki family royalty along with Tatsuya. Oh, is that so? Thanks to you, I have a clear picture of her new home. Thank you so much, Sana. Mama looked quietly down and bowed deeply to Sana. I hope we get to meet again soon. Yes, I do too. Sana, I know you may not want to hear this, but I heard from Eri that the Kamedake is being scrapped. It's been decided that it's not salvageable. It is. But you're going to have to ask Eri-sama for more details. Wow. I understand. Thank you for all your help. Tatsuya bowed. Mama also bowed and they went home. Sana quickly called Eri. Eri, is the Kamedake really being scrapped? Oh, you heard from Tatsuya. Yes, it's true. Why? Is it really in such a bad state? I know how you must feel, Sana, but the Kamedake was supposed to be retired after this mission anyways. It had already been decided. I understand, Sana said in a slightly sad tone. Good. Chief Eri, I'd like to ask for a favor. Sana raised his face with a serious expression and stared at Eri. Con. The sound of walking on a hard wooden floor sounded dimly in a wide, darkened dock. The Kamadeke's dock where Sana was standing was quiet and there was not a single person around. The ship lighted by the twilight was full of scratches and dirt, and all powered down it looked like scrap. Kamedake, Sana said, and then he kept silent and stared at the Kamedake. There are many things he had learned from piloting the Kamedake. They fought together, it protected him. It was the ship that helped Sana realize his dreams. The Kamedake was his first ship. Even if it was the captain's job to pick its route, it was the fighter. As Sana wiped away the tears bleeding out, he saluted the ship. Thank you, Kamedake. You're welcome. That voice sounded as if the Kamedake had said it. Huh, did the Kamedake just talk? He looked around and saw that a girl with the light green hair had come in. She stood at the top of the research scaffolding over the Kamedake, smiling at Sana. And you are? But the girl didn't answer. She came down the stairs with light footsteps. She seemed to be the same age as Sasami, however. The girl had an atmosphere of a rich woman. Are you the Kamedake? It was a strange question, but to Sana it seemed like the soul of a girl had come out of Kamedake. But the girl didn't answer. She aimed a gentle smile at Sana and approached. Are you the Kamedake? When the girl came in front of Sana, he asked her again. That's right. It wasn't too far of a stretch to think that. She could have been the terminal unit of the AI computer unit, just like Ryoki, so Sana just accepted her words at face value. I'm sorry I couldn't help you, so at the very least, I wanted to say thank you. Don't forget me. If you don't forget me, I'll remain forever in your memory. I can exist there forever. The girl flew backwards as if she was weightless. I can exist forever in the astral sea, and I can fly with you. The girl danced, her light green hair shook and her clothes lit lightly like fireflies. Beautiful. The girl's dance shook Sena's heart fantastically, sadly, and beautifully as if the Kamedake had heard his prayers. Beep. And then to break the silence, a ringing tone sounded. Sena, it's about time. Eri's voice called. The girl came closer slowly to the sad-looking Sena and looked up at Sena's face. Goodbye. The girl kissed him lightly on the lips and ran behind him into the darkness. Sena, did you hear me? Oh, yes. I heard. Sena was distracted by Eri's voice, and for a moment he removed his gaze from the girl. He stood up and turned his eyes to find the girl again, but there was no girl there. I hope to see you again soon. It didn't matter whether it was a vision or a prank. He had a sense of satisfaction that he could properly part from the Kamedake now. Oh, you seem relieved, Eri said. Well, that's because I was able to say farewell properly. That's good. Eri threw something like a volleyball to Sena. He reflexively grabbed it and held it in the air. Eri, what did you just throw that at me for? Wait, is this NV? Sena had on a complicated expression as he looked at NV. I have deleted the dubious programs inside of it and adjusted it properly, so it shouldn't do anything weird anymore. Really? Sena seemed suspicious of Eri. Yeah, well, maybe. Really? Yeah, maybe. So, is it? Look, I have to arrange for the Kamedake to be transferred. I'll be at the luncheon. Go take a break and I'll see you later. Yes, I understand. Eri started walking in the direction the Kamedake was stored in. Sena looked at NV. Mr. Master, I am sorry for the various troubles I have caused. Well, in that situation, there was no other choice and everyone ended up all right, so you did good. I'm glad. Shall we get going? Yes, let's get going. Roger that. NV began to hover next to Sena as they walked.